And the last pre-lunch session, ladies and gentlemen, is on India and US Trade and Investment Partner. Can we please request Mr. Nick Vyas to escort our Principal Commercial Officer of US Consulate General Mumbai, US Department of Commerce, Mr. Greg Taevs. Mr. Nick Vyas, can I humbly request you to escort our Principal Commercial Officer, Mr. Greg Taevs. Sir, it's an honor to have your humble presence here. And I loved your smile. I think it's because of the roses, but I take the credit to myself. Thank you so much for a brilliant smile. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome and introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank Nick Vyas, Raj Dias, Dilip Mehta, and Augustine Chalasari for allowing me to speak here today to you. Ladies and gentlemen, through no fault of my own, I'm standing between you and your lunch. And I realize that, and I see a lot of hungry people out there, so I will try to compress my presentation a bit. I'm the Principal Commercial Officer for the Western region of India here. We at the Consulate in the commercial section are here to promote trade between the United States and India. And we firmly believe that increasing trade between the US and India is in both of our interests. And we firmly believe it's a win-win situation for prosperity on both sides of our equation. Merchandise trade between India and the United States in 2017 reached $75 billion. That's quite an accomplishment, and it really underscores the supply chain part of that equation. Just because we are on opposite sides of the world, and when you think about it, and it really takes a supply chain to make that happen. Thank you. You know, these companies involved in the supply chain, we feel are natural partners. They share common values, goals, and visions. And in spite of what goes on, the turbulence that may be in the headlines of the papers, I think you'll find that there are a lot of natural interests involved, and this is a long-term relationship. The Indian logistics sector is likely to grow at 10% in the coming years. That shows massive potential between the United States and India. Given these growth estimates, we're looking closely at opportunities in this sector. We feel that American companies have a lot to offer India. We can actually support the aspirations that India has in the global supply chain and make India a true logistics hub on this side of the world. We've noticed the improvements in the freight rail corridors, airports, port infrastructure, and freight systems across India. But we've been watching other developments as well, other factors that will play into this in the future. We're looking at multimodal operations, moving freight from the farm to the cities, from the ports to the factories, etc. We're looking at GST. GST has been an enormous enabler, and it really grabbed the attention of the United States. We're looking at the indigenous supply chains in India. Very creative, very hardy. We think that partnership in this area with American companies will give Indian supply chain companies an edge in a very competitive world. We're looking at the Digital India Initiative very closely because American companies have a lot to offer in technology, cloud-based software, high-quality storage solutions, security, et cetera. The list goes on. This is a real US strength, and India can take advantage of that. We're looking at the e-commerce explosion in India. It's amazing, and it's really a main driver for warehousing, logistics, et cetera. Cold chain. This is something that is just in a nascent stage in India. The issue of food spoilage and waste, it is huge in India, and US companies have faced this and have conquered a lot of these issues and problems in the past, and this is an area for partnership in the future. Food security and safety, making food traceable and safe for all India. This is an area that US companies have an awful lot to offer. We understand that the Indian logistics sector is going to reach $1 trillion in the next 5 years. This creates a lot of opportunities for all kinds of companies. Drawing on our own experience in North America, eliminating bottlenecks, driving down the cost of transportation, it increases the efficient flow of goods. Customers benefit enormously. The middle class benefits and grows as a result. Export industries flourish, and these are all areas that India is very interested in and we can partner with. We have global leaders in logistics, cities like Oakland, California, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Memphis, Atlanta, and many, many more. We'd like to invite you to come and take a look. In fact, with that, I would like to invite you to the Select USA Summit in Washington, D.C., June 20 to 22. This is the only national level investment promotion event in the United States. This is the event that promotes and facilitates business and investment in the United States. The United States welcomes all kinds of companies, from large multinational Indian companies to small and medium industries, startups. The United States is incredibly diverse, and this summit brings together that diversity in one place for you to take advantage. Each year, the summit showcases investment opportunities from every corner of the United States. And just like India, we have multiple states. Just like India, we have a competitive federalism. You'll see all those 50 states pitching to you on what they have to offer. They all want you to come to their state, and they all offer different incentives and opportunities. So you can quickly narrow down. You don't have to think about 50 states, that's kind of confusing, but you can quickly narrow down to just 1 or 2 states that you may be interested in. The event has 4 main points, 4 main parts of the program, and a 5th that I'll get into in a moment. The 4 main parts of the program are a half-day Select USA Academy, which is a chance for you to learn and get smart on the regulations and rules that govern the investment in the United States, the laws. It's a quick way to understand what's available to you and how to do it. There's a plenary breakout session which includes business and government leaders at a very high level, In the past, the President of the United States has come to this summit, and it's a very good way to understand what their thinking is. There's also an exhibition where all these 50 states do come and pitch to you. And there's an online matchmaking that goes on. And the fifth part of it is actually spin-off visits, and I'll talk about that in a moment. The Select USA program offers several tools online before you go to an event like this to look at the United States in a very critical way. And one of them, I'll just mention quickly, is the cluster mapping tool. This is put together by Harvard University. It's a way for you to understand where industries that you're involved with are located and why. So it's a fast way to narrow down. You may have visited the United States, you may be interested in New Jersey or New York, but that may not be the best place for you to locate an investment. So this is a fast way to get to the bottom of what the best places are. We also have a state business incentives database. Now this is amazing, and you can look at this on your online device, your internet device, and you can understand what different states are offering as far as investments. And as a possible investor, this is extremely valuable, and you can compare one against the other and narrow down which are the best states for you. There's also a state book, it's called, with data on each state, including their logistics, their waterways, their airports, what's located at each location. Extremely valuable. Indian FDI in the United States stands at 12 billion. It's one of the fastest growing sources of FDI for the United States. You can see that there is investment in software and IT services, pharmaceuticals, and other fast-growing industries. It's quite a range. There's quite a few success stories that we can point to. You'll see United Phosphorus, $20 million to South Carolina in chemicals. You'll see Rene in Kentucky, 8.9 million. Automotive is another big area. Parts, accessories, even manufacturing. Mahindra has a big facility there. South Carolina, Virginia, there's quite a range, and quite a range of sizes. I think I'll skip these. Let me get to the spin-offs, because that's the fifth part of the Select USA Summit. They're organized basically on industries and locations. So you can see Kansas there. You can see Virginia, New York. They're organized around different industries. And these are organized so they're a few days before the summit or a few days after the summit, making very good use of your time. So you can plan to go to the summit and then plan your spin-off according to what's being offered. We can even organize a separate spin-off if we get enough interest in another area that you don't see there. So keep that in mind. And I think that really brings me to the conclusion, and I just want to say that I hope you'll take the full advantage of the Select USA Summit as you look at partnership with American companies, and you look at the United States market for Indian industries. The US and India, I believe, are natural partners in the global supply chain. Logistics and investment, I feel that we are your partners in mutual progress and prosperity. And with that, thank you again, and now we can eat lunch. Thank you.
So we request you to kindly stay with us here, and just one question, if it's possible, just one question. So who's the lucky one? Thank you. I think it's time for us to have our lunch, but before that, a very important photo op. We did love to felicitate you, sir. Can I please request Mr. Nick Vyas to felicitate our guest of honor today? And sir, thank you so much for speaking on trade and investment, the ties between India and USA. It was truly an honor to have your presence, sir, and to hear from you. Thank you so much, sir. We request you to be center stage. Mr. Raj, I request you also to join them, please. Thank you. Sir, can we please request you center stage for the photo op? Can I please request the advisory board to come for the photo op, please? The advisory board to come for the photo op with our Principal Commissioner Officer, Principal Commercial Officer, Mr. Gregory Taevs. Sir, can we please request you for a photo op? We'd like to have the advisory board members. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, it's time for some energy break, and actually, sir has already given us energy, Mr. Greg, sir. But thank you so much. And sir, I'd like to say that, sir, you said probably you were coming in between lunch and the people, but as we can see that no one wants to really get up. I guess we had, pretty late breakfast this morning, and sir, as I said, you're not between lunch and people. No one wants to really get up. So I think we can still have one more session, but I would like to apologize, to the session we had prior to this, Mr. Jean Seroka said, I'm very sorry we'll be having a session post lunch break. So I sincerely apologize for the same. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Raj, no one wants to go for lunch. No one wants to break for lunch. So yes, but I guess no one wants to really get up, and it never happens, when I do conferences. People usually rush, for the lunchtime. What do I do? I have no idea. Well, people, I need to ring the bell and tell you, yes, ladies and gentlemen, kids, it's time for a lunch break, energy break. I shall see you pretty soon. When the bell rings, I shall remind you once again to be back indoors. Thank you so much, people, for being such a lovely audience. Thank you so much for joining us at this symposium. It's truly a pleasure to have your presence, and I hope you really enjoy your lunch and come back with some great energy back again into the session. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.